Thanks for watching! If you like this video, be sure to read The Tale of the Order of the Blue Maiden. It's a high-flying adventure. Available now on Amazon, iTunes, Barnes & Nobles, and Kobo. You've never heard a tale like this. Thanks for seeing me, Jedi Counselor Bob. You know, this place is kind of hard to find. I wasn't sure if I'd found the mental health wing or was trapped in a Jamiroquai video. Hello? Uh-oh. I'm traveling without moving.
What brings you to my office today, Mr. Xanax?
That's Lord Xanax to you, peon! I mean, Xerus. Lord Xerus. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. That was a force of habit. You can just call me Melchior.
Okay. Clearly dealing with an inferiority complex and some anger issues. Will you be needing some dark side aversion therapy today, Melchior?
Actually, Counselor, I'm here because I'm experiencing a really severe case of delayed gratification.
Let me guess. You ordered a lightsaber hilt from Saberforge.
How did you know?
Many a youngling have been tempted by their wide selection only to find themselves unprepared for the ordeal that is their lead times.
I just can't wait any longer. You know, I would just take a day trip to Flossel Paradise so that the jump to light speed would cause time dilation, but special relativity doesn't seem to apply in this universe.
Unfortunately. How does that make you feel?
Like the universe is out to get me!
Pareidoilic paranoia. Interesting.
Say, Doc, do you think you can get me some of those time dilation drugs to, you know, dilate my time hole?
Absolutely not. That's only for people that need to be fitted for time glasses.
Aw, come on! My head needs shrinking, Doc!
Why don't we do a simple meditation exercise? Close your eyes, clear your mind, and repeat after me. I am a mystic knight. I embody virtue, and I shall endure.
Alright. I am a mystic knight. Wait a minute. Why does that sound so familiar?
Search your feelings. You know that the correct course of action is patience. Now reach out and feel the force. It's swirling all around you. Let the midichlorians course through your veins. Did you know that the midichlorians have a sense of humor? In fact, the other day they told me a joke. They said, "Knock, knock." "Who's there?" I replied. "Jar Jar Binks." "Jar Jar Binks who?" "Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord." Well, that's more of a conspiracy theory than a joke. Well, that doesn't matter. Let's recenter ourselves, shall we? All right. When I count to 3, you will open your eyes and feel completely refreshed. 1, 2, 3. And release.
Meditation noise.
Your thoughts betray you, young Xerus. I sense much shame in you. You made an impulse purchase, didn't you?
Ah, shucks, Doc. You're right. I engaged in what Lady Sacine would call retail therapy. What's that got to do with anything?
Everything. Impatience leads to shopping. Shopping leads to debt. And debt leads to selling your hilts on a Facebook group. And no hilts leads to suffering.
Oh no! Shopping leads to the dark side! What should I do, Jedi Counselor Bob?
I'm sorry, our time is up. Will you be using Republic credits or insurance today?
What? Oh, yeah, here, do you take Blue Sigil?
Unfortunately, we only take Jedi Permanente.
So, healthcare isn't free in this universe either, huh?
No.
Okay, guys. Welcome back to my, I don't know, I guess my spaceship, my space lab, my space, bunker, my space workshop. I don't know what you want to call this. Anyway, welcome back. I just received a new treasure in the mail. This is from Rebel Sabers. Don't look at my address. I know it's in Chinese, but don't look at that. I ordered the Mystic Knight from them because it looked really cool, and I wanted one. So I went ahead and ordered a Xenopixel version of this because, you know, I was curious. I just wanted to see what I was missing out on. Because everyone was talking about Xenopixels and Neopixels, and being Xenopixel I think is kind of on the lower end. It is my understanding, I could be wrong. All the higher end stuff, like the Profi boards and the Golden Harvests and the neat hot flaming stuff, is all kind of sold out right now. Another reason I bought this was because I did need a two-handed saber with a Suba to use in our dueling group and in the Saber Legion. And I thought this design was versatile enough to actually be used in duels. So, okay, well, alright, that's enough talk. Without further ado, let's open the package. And I apologize, I don't have the best setup for unboxings. I never really have. I did end up spending just weird amounts of money on stuff. So, you know, it's good to finally have something to show for it. So we got a lot of foam in here, which is nice. Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that this box was so narrow, because, yeah, okay, that's exactly as I thought. Here is our hilt. And that is really nice. Maybe I won't chroma key this because this is picking up a green reflection from the screen. Let me put up the black screen, maybe that'll be better. Okay, so I put up the black backdrop. Now we won't be able to have a cool space background. Not that you're really looking at that anyhow. But now, we're not getting as much crazy reflections off of this. So now we can just appreciate the beauty of this product. It's still plastic wrap. Let me take that plastic wrap off. Okay, let's see what else is in the box first. Come on, Xerus, let's focus. Ah, here we go. See, here's the Suba. I was wondering where that was going to be. That's a little on the small side, I gotta say. Pictures online can be deceiving, so, you know, you look at something, you can think of it a certain size, but, you know, especially close-up photography can really distort whatever you're looking at. This looks to be about 2.5 inches across. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, just a little bit narrower than I expected. Alright, so looks like we got our standard hardware kit there. This is the Neopixel blade here. Yeah, so you can see the little telltale little target sign there. Here we go, let's open this without destroying the finish. Careful where you point that knife. It's just good advice. Yeah, this is really wrapped good. So much plastic. Oh, but look at that though. Look at that beautiful, that's beautiful. Now there's a commercial that I've been seeing lately for Maz sabers. And that saber looks pretty cool. Not owning one, I can't really judge it for myself. The guy in the commercial, he says, you know, I'm getting some Old Republic vibes here. And I'm like, nah, man, that's definitely Galactic Civil War era. Alright, so you can see, I'm having a really tough time with this plastic. It's really on there, really tight. I went down to the bottom here, to the pommel, and I found a little point where I could unravel it. So, oh my goodness, that's very pretty. That is very pretty, I gotta say. The aesthetics of this saber, to me, is more, you know, Old Republic than almost any other one I've seen. Or at least, you know, any other one in this price class that I've seen. Because this is a relatively inexpensive saber. I paid something like $340 for the Neopixel. I know that there's more expensive ones that are nicer. Yes, I know. I'm on the on-ramp here. I'm just getting started. That's not to say I'll necessarily blow $1,000 on a lightsaber. I don't know if I have that burning desire. But anyway, in this price class, it's one of the nicest ones I've seen. And mind you, I could have paid, you know, probably around $200 for it if they had given me the baselit model instead. Yeah, the aesthetics of the saber definitely, to me, say High Republic. This could have been like 100, 200, 400, 500 years before the events of the Clone Wars, you know? I mean, that's just my opinion, of course. My entirely unqualified opinion. Look at that pommel. That is just beautiful. I really love this pommel. This is great. Let's put that back in the box. Let's see, what we got here? Oh wow, it's a little USB drive. That's cool. Maybe that's to load the fonts onto it, I guess? Maybe? There's the instructions. Okay, that's a lot of instructions. Look at that. But that's nice though. I'm glad they're giving me some details here, so it's not just flying blind in there. And here's a charging cable, of course. Let me attach her, see if I can get this puppy to light up. Do you see the blade retention screws? The holes for the screws, I don't see them. Sometimes they like to put the retention screws right in these holes, in these decorative holes, which kind of defeats the purpose of the decorative holes. Because I think in order to turn this on, I think this has to be screwed in there. So I don't think this will turn on unless, let's try it.
Power on.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna be really careful with this. Put it right through the middle there. Do not want to ruin this nice finish. This is just like when I used to get glasses as a kid. To have a scratch on them the first day. So upsetting. By the way, this saber is exclusive to Rebel Sabers. They seem like a cool little company. I like their customer service person. She always answers my questions, so in a very prompt manner. The only thing is that this did take like over a month to get to me, but you know, that's not her fault. That's just, you know, the way they do the manufacturing. It's kind of got a weird little goo. It does seem to have scratches on here. I don't know if that can be my fault. Did I put those scratches on there? I did realize that the blade retention screw holes are actually on the Sooooooo, and I did notice that when I was looking at the photographs on the website when I ordered this. Now that is a little bit problematic because it doesn't really give. It's not very deep. I put the blade in there. It goes in about 1.5 inches, which is enough. As long as your screws are tight enough. I did notice that this blade already seems to have like little holes that are kind of scored into the blade. And I can't imagine what the purpose of that is, because they're only about 1/4 inch and change up the blade there, and it just seems like a very unstable place to put that. I would just stick the blade in there and put the screws in there, but I can't with these gloves on. It's just too much of a chore. So why do you wear the gloves, Lord Xeris? Well, there's got to be some mystery about me, you know? I had to get out my macro lens in order to show you this. This is hard enough to do with regular human hands. To do with my Mickey Mouse hands, it's kind of impossible. The best thing to do is, what I did is I grabbed the screw and I just kind of popped it in the hole up right there. I let it rest there. And then I came in with the little Allen wrench from above. And I got it into position. I twisted my fingers like this until, that took hold and it was stable enough to leave the screw without having to screw it in further. Now it's in there, so I don't have to worry about falling to the ground and, getting lost forever, as these things are wont to do. Doesn't that look nice, though, up close? So I wiped this Sooooooo with like a nice, cotton cloth. Full disclosure, it was my shirt. What I thought were scratches came off. Now that it's back to having its beautiful mirror finish. Really just quite stunning. This is really stunning to look at. Okay, so for you time travelers, you'll notice that I finally got a backdrop here. The green screen was really kind of killing the vibe here in the lightsaber. A lot of these lightsabers are very reflective. It'll absolutely reflect whatever's in the background. Editing this was a whole mess. I'm sure you don't care about that, so let's just pop a blade in this sucker and show it off. Now, the thing that I've noticed about VHC lightsabers, their blades have a tendency to kind of wobble a little bit even after you've tightened these retention screws, especially if they only have 2 retention screws. Now, let me do that right now. Where is my Allen wrench? I think I left it in the other room. Okay, cut. So what I do is basically take 1 or 2 layers of transparent packing tape and just wrap it around the section of the blade where the retention screws go. And that kind of helps stabilize the blade a little bit. Don't overdo it, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up jamming the blade in there permanently, which has happened to me. You might notice that my blade, and actually my hilt too, kind of have a few marks on them. I've actually been using this hilt for some time now, and I had to go back and refilm some of this footage. You'll notice that the end is taped. That is a TSL rule. You have to tape the ends of your blade so that in case it kind of gets loose, it doesn't go flying off. At least in theory, because what happens if you use your blade vigorously enough, eventually the tape will break and your tip's gonna go flying off anyway. Everything's ready to go. All right, let's turn this puppy on. It's not turning on. Oh, okay. You know why? It's because I forgot to charge it. Okay, so when I received this new, the battery was charged. They usually are, but in this case, like I said, I've been using this hilt for some time now. The core has actually been sitting in a drawer. I actually forgot to charge it before filming, so let's charge it. Let's pop it in there.
Charging.
All right, so let's let that charge for a minute. Okay, so this thing should be charged enough to turn on, so let's just go ahead and power it up.
Power on.
Okay. Nice. All right. So we can see already that there are some blade effects going on here. Let's see what we do. Let's just start monkeying around with the controls. Okay, that looks like a bind. All right. Tube lifts controls the color. Nice, let's get it to a nice green. I like green. Alright, so let's see. So 3 blips turns it off. Okay, and what I mean by blip is that you hold the button and the button blinks. You know, the button controls really change significantly when you turn the blade on and off. So let's start, see what these controls do. Alright, let's try 1 blip here.
Volume low.
Changes the volume, alright. Mute.
Volume high.
Now we're gonna go to 2 blinks, alright?
Steady.
Alright, this changes the quality of the blade here. Okay, so that's your standard blade. Alright, so I'm gonna let you know, I don't know if I really like sitting here and exploring all of the controls on the saber, because with some of these sabers, they have a lot of features and they can really get really time consuming. I probably won't do it for every saber that I review, but I do want to show you some of these because it puts some of those other sound fonts from that other saber into perspective. And I do think there are some things that are very humorous about this. Let's do some more. Okay, where are we at? 2 blips, right?
Pulse.
Pulse. I like this one. You know, this makes the saber look a little bit more lively than just a steady blade.
Rainbow blade.
Alright, rainbow blade. This is a little different, but I think it's pretty friggin' cool. Actually, I think I showed you this earlier. Whoa! Okay, I know that's just me being easily amused, but... that's a lot of fun. This really kind of shows off the capabilities of these pixel blades.
Candy blade.
Candy blade.
Unstable.
Unstable. Okay. This one I'm not liking as much. This one's a little bit jarring. I don't know how it looks on the screen. Let's take a look. So, this one is a little bit hard to see on camera. Maybe because of my frame rate. I always film at 24 frames per second. So that probably makes it a little bit hard to see this, because this is really flashing very intensely. So you're probably not getting the full effect of this on the video.
Fire blade.
That's another one that you might not be able to see very well on camera. It's kind of like the unstable blade, but it's not flashing so much as it is flowing up the blade. If you're using a red color, it'll probably look the best. And it looks like we're back to steady. Alright? So that's it for these blade effects. Alright, now let's move up to 3 blips. Now we're going to do 3 blips, or 3 blinks. Alright?
Blaster blade.
Okay, so this is the blaster blade. You can see that it's basically... Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, I see what happened. It was the motion controls. Yeah, okay, that's what... See, I twisted the hilt, and then the motion controls turned it off. I find motion controls to be incredibly annoying. Especially if you're dueling with these sabers, you know, because you go to do a stab, and then all of a sudden you've turned your saber off. So I really dislike these motion controls, and I usually turn them off. And I forget how to turn them off on this saber. So anyway, okay, so if I do this, it turns back on. But of course it's blaster blade, which means... That's kind of a cool effect, right?
Ghost blade.
Ghost blade. I don't really love the ghost blade, because it's basically... It only turns on when you're moving it. Maybe if you're doing a ninja stealth thing, this will appeal to you, so you're in the dark, and then you kind of have to sneak up behind someone and then get them. Okay. That is kind of a cool effect. The flash on clash doesn't flash the whole blade. It flashes a certain section of the blade, so that's kind of cool. You can call it up by hitting the button. So I personally don't find the ghost blade very interesting.
Broken ignition.
Broken. Okay, so now these are ignition effects, all right? So I'm going to turn this on. That's kind of cool. That's kind of dramatic. It's a good intro to a fight. Alright. Stack ignition. So that's fun. That's like a fun effect. Now these are the effects that I kind of find a little bit extra. I find them a little bit tiresome. Don't get me wrong. These effects are artistic feats of engineering and programming, and they're impressive. But, you know, in terms of a good fighting saber, I don't really find them all that interesting.
Photon ignition.
And these just kind of get more and more involved. That's pretty cool. It's a nice little animation. Alright, and I think you can combine these two. I have seen that some of these effects do kind of like overrule each other. They start interacting a little bit weird when you put them together.
Warp ignition. Phaser ignition.
It's a little bit dramatic for my tastes.
Standard blade.
Okay, so now we're back to the standard blade there. Oh, okay, it turned off on its own. Alright, so we gone through the blade effects, and then the ignition effects. Alright, now let's go to 4 blips.
You have to get rid of.
I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, so these are sound fonts. And from the sound of it, that was Rey Skywalker, I think. Oh, wait, what's happening? I don't know how I triggered that. I don't know what I did. Okay, I want the music to turn off. This is not cleared for copyright.
The dark sword.
A lot of these sabers have music on them. I'm not sure how I triggered it that time. I might have done a motion control. So, and actually, I still don't know how to turn the motion controls off. Alright, that's a dark saber. Not really a fan of the dark saber sound.
There's a cunning warrior.
You were the chosen one!
And he was a good friend.
You were my brother, Anakin!
Yeah, I always find it funny how they try to identify some of these sound fonts, because I'm not really sure, is this supposed to be Anakin Skywalker, or is it supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi? Honestly, their lightsabers don't really sound that different. Yeah, this is a very, very regular sounding lightsaber font. See, there's the music again. Oh, wait. Is that a sound font? That might have been a sound font. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah, okay. It's Darth Maul by the sound of it. Since my last video, I've gone back and you know, played more, Jedi Fallen Order, and watched more movies, and watched more Clone Wars, and kind of been reminded of some of these sound effects, what they are. So I remembered that Darth Maul's sound is very kind of electrical.
Have a Holocaust.
What? What was that? I didn't catch that. Did you?
Ben Solo.
Here's Ben Solo. I do like that a lot of these sound fonts are... Okay, that was an accident. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Oh, okay, twisting it to the right. Activate some kind of... Oh, okay, that's tiresome. I don't like that. I do like that some of these sound fonts are paired with a color, because I don't necessarily like going around and assigning colors of these. You probably can change it, I don't know. I haven't messed around with this enough to find out, but...
You will take the throne.
I don't know this one. I like the light coming out of these little holes here. It looks really nice. I'm not familiar with that character. Kind of sounds like Palpatine, but I don't think it is.
I've become more powerful than any Jedi.
That sounds like Count Dooku. And the saber is nice and loud. That is one of my favorite saber fonts because it kind of growls.
Hello there.
Obi-Wan.
Darkness.
Don't know what that is. Sounds like a more aggressive version of Darth Maul. Okay, did you hear that? That was like some weird elevator sound. What the heck is that supposed to be? Write me in the comments if you know what that weird elevator sound is, because that really puzzles me a lot. It's red, so we know it's a bad guy. So maybe maybe it's from one of the video games or something? Doesn't really sound all that unique. I just find it so funny that to identify that sound font, or that character, is just the sound of the turbo lift. That's funny. I'm not sure what that is. That could be a Cal Kestis, maybe? I don't know.
The General, to me she's royalty.
Okay. Probably another video game character that I'm not familiar with.
300 years ago, I found your empire in the stars and stood against the Emperor himself. I was betrayed. I am proof that the dark side can be resisted.
Okay, alright. Sounds cool, but he talks for way too long. Another red saber. Alright, I'm guessing that's a character from another video game that I'm not familiar with. So that's cool. If you're familiar with that character, that's probably a nice memory for you.
Can't stop me now. Nothing can.
Another bad guy, okay. I know, so I apologize if I'm driving you crazy with the holes in my knowledge here. Just a sound effect. That font is very ominous. Maybe kind of distracting, but that might be good in a fight.
Every Jedi who ever lived never saw you.
Okay. This could be maybe another Rey, I don't know. There's a lot of characters, a lot of stuff to keep track of here.
Rey Skywalker.
Okay, so this is just flat out Rey Skywalker. This is a Luke Skywalker sound font, very simple. Alright?
Codex of Light.
Codex of Light, okay, here we go. And that one's a little bit unusual.
Cyber Terror.
Wow, okay, so these are some of the really non-standard ones.
Dark Ages.
Oh, this one's fun. This one's kind of right up my alley, really. Lord Zero should be all about this one.
Hatred.
Oh, that one's really loud. That one's just almost kind of obnoxious.
Idol.
I think this is a lot like the Middle Ages one.
Serenity.
So I noticed that some of these fonts are kind of a little bit too loud.
The champion.
But you know what? In a competition setting, you do want your saber to be loud. Because, honestly, you barely hear it at all. I do feel that having a nice audible sound effect might help to kind of putting your opponent a little bit off balance. Maybe not. Who knows? Just my opinion.
Low battery.
Oh, okay.
Please recharge.
Oh, alright. We're running out of battery, so I guess I'm gonna have to pick this up later. Okay, so as you can tell, some time has elapsed. There's been a rotation of the planet, and my health is completely charged. So, let's pick up where we left off here.
Power on.
The Dark Lord revisited.
Oh, the Dark Lord revisited. Okay, now here's a point in time where having so many sound fonts kind of loses its charm. There's so many on the saber that you know, some of them kind of start to sound similar. You know, at a certain point, you're like, oh god.
Banana.
What was that? Okay, I should have been paying attention. I didn't hear what that was.
The second.
The second. All right. I'm assuming that's a reference to the second sister.
The teacher. Whispers of power.
I don't know if that's a whisper so much as a yell. Didn't really.
I am Sailor Moon.
But Sailor Moon, hey, that's a nice one. This one's fun. Okay, I might have to just choose this one for the next tournament. This one's pretty great.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Okay, not Kylo Ren's color, but that's okay. I think maybe this was just the color I had selected before. I do like that this one is differentiated from Darth Maul a little bit.
Hello, the Jedi.
Okay, I don't know who this is supposed to be. Supposed to be another take on Rey, maybe? I'm not sure. Okay, that was the musical cue, so I don't know what that's supposed to be. Alright, that just kind of sounded like the Darksaber. So that's the thing about this, huge collection of saber fonts is, even though you ostensibly have, I don't know, it was like 25 of them, a lot of them kind of just sound similar. So if we keep going, I know that if we keep going, we're gonna bump into a few that are just kind of repeats of the ones that we've already seen.
You're not to fear. Just a traveler.
Who's this supposed to be? What is nice about the motion controls is that it takes less time to attract the saber than it would by holding down the button. That's the one benefit of this.
I know what I have to do.
This sounds like Kylo Ren again. You know, I'm starting to wonder actually if maybe some of these are repeating the same font, but it's just giving me a different name. You know, like a different sound file as the title. It does seem like with a lot of these main characters, we get nice, cleaner sounds. They're a little bit more elegant. You know, they're not so bassy, not so distorted. And then some of the more exotic ones are a little bit more fearsome. They're louder. They have more going on. And I think that's kind of deliberate, you know? With someone like Rey Skywalker or Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan, I think the sounds have to be a little bit more polished and also coexist with dialogue and, you know, other sound effects and what have you. I don't know. It's just an observation on my part. I was thinking about wanting to turn off the motion controls on this saber, and I think I remembered that this saber was before they started implementing that control. So actually, you're just kind of stuck with the motion controls on this. I think that if you have the know-how, you can actually go onto the SD card that's in this saber and reprogram it and turn off the motion controls that way. But I do know that newer sabers have the ability that you could actually just turn off the motion controls. Alright, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this handle off here so that you can see some of the insides. So here's the SD card for the saber, alright? So this saber is programmable. Right now I don't have the know-how how to do this. It'll take me some time to learn. And if you are talented enough, you can totally make your own sound fonts. I'm not that talented, so I'm not going to do that right now, but I just wanted to show you that so that you would be aware. As I put this thing back together, I'm just going to make a couple of little adjustments to this. I'm going to add some extensions to this handle. I use my hilts in order to compete in the Saber Legion, or at least to, you know, go practice with them. Oh man, okay. Just turn off, just stay off right now. And as such, the Saber Legion has a maximum length on their hilts at 16 inches. So this hilt is only 12 inches long. So I need to add some extensions in order to get it to the maximum. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, the reason is because making your hilt longer lets you have the same advantage that any other fighter would have in that scenario. All right? And, you know, you do want to give yourself a good length. I mean, if you're really good with a short saber, and you're really good at defense, and you're really good at footwork, then sure, yeah, go ahead and do it. But for most people, and myself, who is a relative novice, I would just be putting myself at a severe disadvantage for no good reason. So if we measure this hilt will be almost exactly 16 inches long. Comes in a little bit under, it's about 15 and a half, which is fine. It's kind of hard to find parts that add up to the exact length that you need, so I just kind of settled for this length. So now another issue becomes is how long is the whole saber? Because the maximum length that you're allowed is 51 inches. You don't want to shortchange yourself in this competitive setting. A little bit over 50, so it's not bad. So you're 3/4 of an inch short. Now I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but like I keep saying, in a competitive setting, you know, that matters more than you might think. Alright, so having said that, I just want to go over some of the pros and cons of using this particular saber in a competitive setting like the Saber Legion, okay? This saber, of course, being a Xenopixel saber, or any pixel saber, really. And what I'm really talking about is the core, not the model of the hilt itself. The hilt itself can be retrofitted, no problem. You can just undo the screws and take the core out and replace it with a baselit core, which I actually have done and probably will do again. Advantages of a pixel saber. One, really bright. You know, excellent brightness and consistent brightness. Very beautiful. All right? Another advantage is really awesome animation and effects. That's a really cool animation that you can only get with a pixel saber. Another advantage is that the speaker on this core is very loud. Louder than most of the baselit sabers that I've encountered. Now, those are actually kind of agnostic advantages. Now I'm going to talk about the disadvantages. And these disadvantages almost exclusively apply in a competitive setting like TSL. And those disadvantages are weight of the blade. Since the blade is full of more material, it's going to weigh more than an empty blade, which you would get with a basic saber. Okay, another disadvantage is cost of the blade. These blades are way more expensive. To get a blade for a baselit saber, you probably spend around $25 from a vendor like the Custom Saber Shop. Maybe a little less if you assemble the blade yourself. But to get a pixel blade, you have to spend around $80 to $100 to maybe $120, you know, depending on the length of the blade and what kind of blade you want, or where you get it from. So if you use the blade a lot, you might break it. All right, to replace the blade, you're gonna have to spend a lot more money. Another disadvantage is that you can't easily change the length of the blade. Now, some of you have the ability and the resources to make a pixel blade of the length that you need. That's fine. A lot of people like myself don't necessarily have that technical know-how. So a baselit saber is going to be a lot easier to customize the length of the blade. You know, the Saber Legion has very specific rules about how long your saber can be, and depending on the length of your hilt, you might need to trim your blade, as I have several times. A baselit saber is going to offer more flexibility in that regard because the blades are just hollow. So you can just get a pipe cutter and trim the blade to the length that you need. Another disadvantage is that these blades are prone to getting loose and malfunctioning. Like I said, I've been to several practices where I've taken this blade and I fight with it for a little while, and as soon as the connection gets a little bit loose between the blade and the connector pins, the blade starts to go haywire. And finally, the last disadvantage that I have to tell you about is the battery life. Now, like I said, these blades are incredibly bright and they look amazing, but that comes at a price. And that price is battery life. And I can tell you from experience, from using this at a practice session, the battery will be drained after your practice session for sure. As opposed to a baselit saber, which might last 2 or 3 or 4 practice sessions without being charged. So a baselit saber that only has maybe 1 or 3 or 4 LEDs here at the base is going to last a lot longer than a whole string of LEDs that run up and down your blade. And in a competitive setting, that is going to matter, because, you know, if you go to a tournament and the tournament lasts several hours long, you know, and you run out of batteries, that's going to be an issue. Because according to the rules of the Saber Legion, your saber has to ignite at the beginning of the match. It's okay if you run out of batteries during the match, but it has to light up at the beginning of the match. And if it doesn't, you might get disqualified. Again, I want to stress that these pixel blades, they're amazing, they look awesome, they're very artistic, you know, and if you're creative and a talented individual, you can make amazing animations. But in a competitive setting, it makes more sense to use a baselit saber for these reasons that I've just enumerated. Actually, a lot of fighters prefer to use stunt sabers. That's sabers that light up, but that actually have no sound whatsoever. The sound could malfunction, it could break. Those soundboards can be costly to replace, more so than just what is essentially a flashlight. So anyway, this is a really cool saber. I'm glad I have it, but I don't really think I'm going to be buying a bunch of these. You know, I don't really have a need to have all these sabers that do all these fancy things. You know, cycling through these effects was kind of tiresome. It's fun, it's amusing for a little bit, but it really just has kind of a limited functionality, in my personal view. And in the way I use these sabers, which is in competitive fighting, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to have all these fancy features, because really my focus is going to be winning matches. I hope you enjoyed this video. Ooh, I just cut my own hand off there. Alright guys, well if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget our motto, Noli timere utsujiret, don't be afraid to suck. And I'll see you on the battlefield.